of course, memories are short. You know, it was just about 12 years ago. This region again experienced unprecedented Asian financial crisis. Just when the Asia-Pacific region was touted as the growth region. But just with the devaluation of the Thai baht in July 1997, it triggered a domino effect. From Thailand to Malaysia to Singapore to Indonesia to Japan, Korea, Hong Kong, all the way to Russia. How we experienced recessions. And in case you're not aware, just through one company, the collapse of the long-term capital management hedge fund, it almost triggered the downfall of the whole world monetary system. And that's how fragile our system is. Okay? But have we learned the lesson, even from the Asian financial crisis? You be the judge. Eh? Of course, IMF also stands for I am fired. And I believe the ex-president of Indonesia, Suharto, never for a moment imagined that through this crisis, he was to be brought down after 32 years in power. And then, of course, we have the dot-com bubble, followed by the September 11 event. Again, you know, unimaginable what happened. Okay? So let me now quickly move to what has happened over the last 12 months, the global financial tsunami. And I pick up this picture of the physical tsunami that again happened in this region on 26 December 2004. And in fact, I've been using this picture to warn people, are you ready to ride the coming financial tsunami, as I was sent to the various organizations, even universities, polytechnic, to share about this subject about understanding loans and avoiding the debt trap. But how many people really heed the advice until that fateful day, 15 September 1985? What kind of tsunami? In case you missed the headlines, hell in Asia, panic attack as investors sell off shares at any price. Then again, what I showed just now about the market in turmoil, stock market plunge in Asia, in Europe, and so on. Of course, now we are seeing a recovery, but I will share with you my thoughts about this recovery later on. Nightmare on Wall Street bring more losses, big losses. Market in turmoil from the US all the way, how it swept over the rest of the world. Zero interest, almost near zero interest rate, unthinkable. In fact, the recent issue by the US Treasury, the Treasury bills, imagine they are paying 0% and yet it's many times oversubscribed. What does it tell you? Okay. So how did it happen? Okay, Lehman Brothers collapsed on 15 September 2008. A good case study for you. A country on the verge of bankruptcy. Unimaginable. Unprecedented. Can you imagine? Iceland 18 months ago was touted by the UN Human Development Institute as one of the most developed countries in the world. And Iceland is about the same size as Singapore. A Straits Times journalist wrote an article and said, can the same thing happen to a nation like Singapore? Is it possible? Okay. And Iceland, the fourth largest bank, borrowed something like 100 billion when their GNP is only 14 billion. And so they went bankrupt for the oldest reason that we all know. They borrowed too much. They borrowed too much. Eh? City survives, now the world can sleep. The tagline, the city that never sleeps, kept many millions in sleepless nights. Can you imagine if Citibank had collapsed? Share price, US $55, dropped all the way below US $1. Now taken out of the Dow Jones Index. Unthinkable, unimaginable, from hero to zero. GM, GE, Citibank, 50 trillion wiped off as at end of last year. You know what is 50 trillion? Million is 60. Billion, 90. Trillion is 12. Put another 50 in front. That's a lot of money wiped off. Yeah? But what is even more serious is this crisis of trust between governments, among the banks, and of course from the service provider of products and services to the men in the street with the mini bond fiasco and so on. How can this trust be restored? Okay. And are you aware? New US currency. Oh dear, what's happening? Really, when you look at the measures taken by the Federal Reserve, the US Treasury, which way to go? Really, they are at a loss. Desperate measures, right? And of course, as it filters down to the man in the street, it's the same question asked. Which way to go? Men in turmoil. So I want to bring you back to the Asian financial crisis where I pick up this Straits Times article. It says, was the US dollar debt used to weaken Asia the way opium was used to weaken China in the last century? Okay, food for thought for you to go and look at it. And then what is more important is during the Asian financial crisis, I pick up an article called Empty Dreams Built on Virtual Money. Okay? And there are two questions that were posed, which I want the students to go and do some research, because it's just as relevant, if not more relevant, for this global financial tsunami 2008. The first question is, what has gone wrong in this profit-motivated financial world? Secondly, what is behind the financial bubbles which rise and burst, as I give you a very quick overview of some of these recession and crisis that has hit our shore. If there's one word that can describe all these events, that word is that culture of greed. G-R-E-E-D. Okay? There's no time to elaborate on this, but you come for September session, I will share a bit more. Yeah? Have you seen this new US currency also? In greed we trust. It's no longer in God we trust. And now the stock markets from the US to this region is rolling as though there is a V-shaped recovery. Are we already beyond the bottom and on the road to recovery? Or is there another crisis lurking in the horizon? The bailout bubble. For you to do more research. And with this, I will conclude. It's not if, but when. If you understand the tsunami, it will not come in just one wave, two waves. It comes in waves. Okay? And this crisis may pass us, but I can guarantee you that there will be another crisis waiting to happen. But most important of all is, are we going to learn from the crisis that we are going through? That's more important. Okay, when you learn the lessons, then you'll be more prepared for whatever crisis that come your way. God bless you and thank you.